come on the scene. And there's these dudes that are like, they're killing it. They're saying a lot of shit.
Just talking in Spanish, though.
Spanish, 100% Spanish.
That's crazy. I like, I've watched the Cuban guy. I grew up on the Mexican dude that used to do, you know, I thinking about doing it now. Like, I would go on stage and give it a try just because it's who I am.
You would fucking kill it.
Not really.
You would.
Not really.
Dude, listen. It's the same.
I would have to play a character.
No.
Yes, I
would.
No, if I went up there, the only way for me to make this funny, trust me, I'm telling you.
A Cuban.
But I would have to be like one of the dudes. I would have to go up there, number one, and be fucking filthy. Like, I remember walking, I was tight with Felicia.
They love it. They love
filth. I was
filth.
tight with Felicia.
They love filth.
And I would walk into a house every Tuesday to do a podcast. And every week I would say, Juan is our house cleaner. And watches the kids and takes the kids to school. And I would walk in, being raised how I was, and I would go, Buenos días, Juana, in Spanish. And she'd go, Buenos días, Jose, or whatever the fuck she'd say. And after about 5 or 6 weeks of this, I walked in one day and I go, let me take a chance. You know, Juan would watch Telemundo in the kitchen and shit like that. And I had like a suntan. So she bought right into it. I walked up to her and I go, Coño, Juan, estoy cansado. That means I'm tired. And she goes, ¿Por qué? And I go, because I just came back from Vegas and it was hot and I couldn't sleep because the air conditioner in the room. And I go, and on top of that, when you're in Vegas, they blow oxygen in the room. And she goes, really? Oh, it's a shame. And I go, the only good part was the pool. But the weirdest thing happened at the pool. And she goes, what happened? And I go, I'm in the water. And there's a gay guy walking past. There's a gay guy in the water. And the gay guy walking says to him, Oye, ¿cómo está la agua? And the gay guy goes, de pinga. And the other guy goes, bueno, me tiro de culo. Right? She looked at me for like a second. That's like a really dirty joke. Like, how's the water? The water's like a cock. Well, I'm gonna, because it doesn't translate in English.
But I'll tell you that they do a lot of those jokes.
She died.
Yeah, they love it.
She died.
They love it.
And then after that,
yeah,
I could hit it with not material. I'm not ready to do material. I'm ready to do one of the characters that would hang at my mother's bar with that style of Cuban. It's a style of Cuban that a lot of Cubans don't dig. It'll go over in Miami, in Kendall. These are wild. When I speak in Spanish,
yeah,
these are wild. I speak a wild Cuban dialect.
A wild Cuban dialect.
When people hear it, they look at me.
What the fuck is a wild Cuban dialect? Like, I've heard Cubans speak. I grew up surrounded by Cubans. Cubans taught my mom how to cook. Like, they legit taught her how to make
it's
Cuban
crazy,
shit.
Dog.
No, we were dude. We had Cubans to the right, Cubans to the left, Cubans behind us.
I called Becky the other night. I told her what they call pussy in Spanish. La sahuaca, la papaya. You know,
papaya, right.
I go, la papaya encendida. You know, that's what you should tell these Spanish dudes.
You just called Becky up and told her this?
Yeah,
you were
right here. You were right here in the room. She was on the phone going, "Oh my God!"
But I mean, it's like a question. It's a legit question. What do you call it? You know?
She goes, "I'm not even going to tell my mother."
Because some people get offended.
Papaya, el gorila, el mono,
gorilla,
la araña pelúa. That means the hairy spider. In Spanish, they have 1,000 names for the vagina. You know?
Because they're not allowed to talk about the fucking vagina. So they got to talk. They literally. That's where that shit had to have come from. They had to disguise the fact that, and now all those fucking names just kind of stuck as like a fucking, like a, I don't know, almost like a crazy reminder of the oppression of
There's a Cuban comedian who's very popular. What's his name? Not Angel Salazar, not the kid from the Comedy Store. A guy that does just albums in Miami, and he fucking does these albums in Miami. Fuckingly huge, and he's dirty.
Okay.
You know, later on, once I have to, for me to write Spanish stand-up, I have to sit down for a while, and there's no way really to work it out. Just at your spot once a week,
right?
Like I could pop into the Comedy Store. You were popping.
So you could do whatever you're doing in English. You wouldn't have to do a whole different set. You could just do the same thing. You just translate it, and a lot of it sounds like it doesn't translate. But you'll find a word that's funny that still gets the same point across. Because the situation's what's funny. And then a word just kind of helps to sell it. And you're a master wordsmith.